Hey, it's A Canadian Gamer here. Welcome to the No Name Podcast. I know it's been a while, guys. 2 years. Holy shit, it's been 2 years. If you're wondering who I have with me this time, it's Trevor.
Hello, I'm Trevor Mason 117. You may know me as probably a joke to society, considering I was mocked multiple times, but that's a different story. But who I am I? Oh God, I can't speak English tonight.
You've been telling me you were a cuck.
Well, Chad, that award goes to Chad, but that's basically.
Yeah,
What I do is I basically play games like normal. Like I just play like games for occasion. Maybe throw some katanas into some guards' faces or whatever, and just have a good time.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm pretty much on a hiatus, considering I'm just planning on purchasing some equipment I may need.
Yeah, don't
But,
feel too bad about having trouble speaking, man, because this is our first, or it is your first rodeo, I assume. Like, it's been a while since I've done this.
Oh yeah, it's been a while since I've done this too, considering I was on a podcast with Mage of the South, I think about a year ago.
Yeah? How did that go?
It turned out okay. The audio quality wasn't the best from what I heard back in the time. Like I could barely hear myself, and it was unfortunate that it didn't end up going too well, or ended up not going too far. I think Matt talked about politics and all. It seemed like something pretty interesting to talk about, because I know Matt in person, and he actually really is sincere about what he's doing. And I don't know where the podcast show has gone. It may even be over. I don't know. But I was on there for my best game 2017, I think. I don't really remember what's on there.
How about you tell the viewers the type of content you make?
Okay, the type of content I create is basically centered around games. It's a typical Let's Player.
We both have gaming channels.
With imagine if somebody was going. Imagine if someone wanted to edit videos to basically insanity and just add music or just have crazy moments in there in context. Well, imagine if I took that dial and cranked it to 200. That's basically what I do.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a gaming channel. I've been working on my channel for years now. I believe I started my channel around, April 2015. Surprising I remember that.
January 17th, 2016 for me, which if I started on 17th, that would basically stand for 117.
And I noticed that 117 is also a reference to John 117, the Master Chief.
Oh yes,
Halo
my
series.
name came from my original Xbox Live gamer tag, which that pretty much stayed with me like a curse, and I had nothing to go with. So I'm like, hey, why not just use this name and just go with it? Even though I do use my actual real name on Twitter.
And yeah, it's one thing one thing that really clicked with me and you is we're also both Halo fans. And
I love the series.
Yeah, for me, I remember back in the day, Halo for me was my introduction to online gaming. I've never really I've never really played games online. I remember getting my 360 Christmas of 2007, and I went about a year and a half, and for the longest time I've always played the thing offline, always single player games. And it's only until April of 2009 that I got the fucking Wi-Fi adapter for the old model of the 360. It's not like the newer model where it's just it's just built right into it. No, it's you literally had to get this adapter. And it was only after setting up my Xbox Live account and playing the game I realized with Halo 3 I was missing half a portion of a fucking game. I was missing half of a game, and and every time I would get home from school, I would just play that all day.
Oh, I used to too. I used to play it with my brother in local matches in Slayer. I think I remember playing it in Sandtrap one time. We decided to get on, those huge vehicles in the desert and all. We used to play around those things all the time.
I'm trying to actually remember the name of that map actually.
The map is Sandtrap.
Sandtrap, right? Yeah, and I believe those big vehicles, they were called elephants, I believe.
Oh yeah, elephants. Yeah. And even then, even when the elephant actually flipped, it actually made fun of itself and said it made fun of itself saying, "Flip the elephant." how would you do that or something like that? I certainly don't remember
Um,
how.
I mean, Spartans are like pretty strong, but like, but then again, you have to take into account if you're into Halo lore, like I do remember reading the original Halo's manual, back in the days when video games still had manuals. Like it would,
I never had the original Halo back on the
well,
Xbox.
in the original manual, it would give you factoids on like certain things like weapons and such. Like for example, the Scorpion tank, I believe something like the weight of that thing was something tons, like 50 tons. I don't know. I might be downplaying it. It might be even larger. But if a Spartan can like flip over a big ass tank like that, I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility for him to flip over an elephant. But maybe some may say that might have been a stretch too far. And
Probably.
actually speaking of those elephants, where's things like every time you would play on that map like Big Team Slayer, it's like basically regular Team Slayer, but with like additional former players on the team, 8v8, I believe, 16 players. Um, Funny enough, like I don't know if those things were actually included into the game type when you would play it in like public games and all that. Uh, it would be used. I don't think it was exactly used. Like, and personally, it seemed kind of pointless.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
And even then, I think after Halo Reach, Halo Reach came out, which I actually really enjoyed Halo Reach for what it was. Like the campaign was enjoyable. It wasn't the best campaign out there, that's for sure. The multiplayer was certainly fun to play, and Firefight was amazing, and the Forge mode
Huh.
was something to hold to heart.
Yeah, Firefight was definitely fun, but personally, I think it was better. I think I liked it more with ODST, to be truly honest.
Oh yeah, ODST was fun as well.
Actually, actually I do have a funny story with ODST. Basically, like you ever tried? Well, you're kind of technically underage, but
15
I
actually.
I I was tech well alcohol. I was technically underage regarding this story. Basically, the thing is, me and a friend we played Halo 3 ODST, and basically we played the firefight mode. And every time you die, you would have to take a shot.
Oh, I was about to guess that actually.
Yeah, and thing is, we were pretty fucking shit-faced by that point. And the one thing that really pissed me off to this day, my friend kind of wimped out. He basically said, "Yeah, no, I'm not gonna drink shots like you are. I'm just gonna take a sip of beer every time I die." It's like, really? You're gonna fucking take sips of pussy light beer? Uh, but yeah, but personally, looking back in retrospect, looking back, that would have been a better option for me because yeah, that was probably the first time I got really drunk, and that was my first encounter with a hangover. So yeah,
Oh boy, I'm not really planning on drinking it in my time. I'm not planning on that at all,
yeah. I mean,
ever.
I think it's something you can do, but
Like
different.
maybe at parties or something like that. But as of
Yeah, some people are
just
more
make
of a
it would make
social
me
drinker,
miserable. But just doing it all the time, it would probably make me miserable.
and plus,
Even
and
one time, if
yeah,
I ever get into a relationship and that falls apart, that would pretty much fuck up my life.
they do say alcohol is like a depressant, like basically, and drink.
Antidepressant, except
Yeah,
that depression is pretty much like a mental illness.
I mean, it does make you feel good temporarily, but like there's a high like alcohol is much like any other drug when you use it. Like when you're first on it, first few drinks, you're feeling really good, but eventually you start coming down. Like the alcohol in your system, it's like coursing through your body, and by that point, and if you know, and when you do start drinking, you'll notice that you'll fucking be pissing like a fucking racehorse, man. It's just
Jesus
and
Christ.
well, but here's the thing: it's not exactly the beer or the alcohol going through your that's being pissed out. It's basically just all the water in your body. The alcohol is still being
Of course, it gets processed for your liver and then
yeah
it goes through your
yeah
bladder.
it's still being processed through your liver. So and I guess your body's reaction to having alcohol in the system, it just evacuates all the water in your body. And when all your water is being evacuated out of your body, that leads to dehydration, and dehydration leads to being hungover. So best thing you can do when drinking is eat and drink water. So yeah, to any underage viewers, if you cave into peer pressure, I'd say be safe drinking, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways, what games have you been playing lately?
Oh, some games I haven't really been playing much. I've just been like, I think about the last couple games I played for a while was Dead Rising.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I've been doing a marathon of that game recently, and after like watching, I think it was I can't pronounce his name, but he did this video. This one guy did a video called Dead Rising 4 Developing Deception.
I may have saw that in recommendations or recommendation
Oh
second
yeah, I watched the
section.
entire video, and it was really interesting to break down how Dead Rising 4 was pretty much a not only a technical mess, but also
Well,
just not really very
what
good.
was the name of this guy's channel? Who made this video?
I think I'm not sure. I honestly can't. If I'll oh god, I can't speak. I'll search it. I think.
Yeah. And also for me, speaking of Dead Rising, it's interesting you bring that up because I may have showed you a video or two, or video of this. I did start a Dead Rising retrospective, and I'm
Yeah.
sure some of my viewers might get on my case about not starting the video or finishing part two, and then trust me, I will get it done. It's just videos such as that take a lot of work. Like, I mean, I'm not really the type of person, like, I do have a very weird schedule. I don't have a very defined schedule, and that's the thing with being a YouTuber. You don't need like a defined schedule. It's
Oh yeah.
really,
Like
it's really,
I think
it,
when it
it
comes to
really
schedules, I think
varies.
the last time I might ever make a schedule was for Trevor Chad season 3, and that's currently supposed to be launching in late March. I believe, considering it might be pushed back to April depending on what I'm going. But I do have a trailer made for it right now, and a good friend of mine is actually creating promotional art for it, and that's why it hasn't been released yet. Like it was supposed to come out. The trailer was supposed to come out in February, in like late February, but considering the promotional art hasn't been made yet, I that's has to be delayed no matter what happens because like you can't have a video without a thumbnail. Am I right?
Yeah. And speaking of the scheduled YouTubers, that kind of reminds me of Angry Joe. You remember when a lot of his viewers are mad at him for like
Oh
taking
yeah,
such time
he
off?
like Joe deserved that break. He deserved that break, considering he'd
Yeah.
been working his ass off for so long. But his fans end up going ranting, saying, "Hey, we want more videos. Go. How about go watch some of his older videos for maybe 2 months? Because
Like, I
like
mean,
there's plenty of stuff there.
yeah, he's got a lot of content on there, a lot of entertaining content.
Yeah, and people like remix his videos. Like some guy remixed the
Yeah,
"you done fucked it up" thing.
and plus and some of his viewers get mad at the fact that he's making like movie reviews and others. And I remember when season 7 of Game of Thrones was still going, he actually made a series reviewing each individual episode when they came out. Some
Oh boy,
people pretty
reviewing each
and
episode not a good
whenever
idea.
and every time you look through the comments like, we don't want this. Make more fucking angry reviews, you bearded fuck, or whatever.
Jesus.
Well, that's just a hypothetical. I'm not quoting anything.
Well, I do think Joe's fans are a bit
I
crazy.
mean, I don't think I wouldn't generalize his entire fan base. I
Like
mean, he has.
I don't generalize his entire fan base. I mean the people who
I mean, he has like a total of what, like 3 million subscribers now.
yeah, after being on YouTube since what 2010, I think.
Yeah, or I think earlier. I think he came up around the same time Nostalgia Critic came up around. And Jesus fucking Christ, they've been on for like nearly a decade now, which is crazy.
Yeah, time goes by fast. Like I've been doing stuff for like maybe 2 years and I didn't even notice it.
Um, and speaking of the games we've been playing also, I actually just started playing Resident Evil 4 for the first time.
Oh, how was that? I'm actually excited to hear what you say about that. I love that game.
The thing is, the reason why I started it, I really take it. The reason why I started it because there's this one reviewer, Acorn Cinema. His channel's kind of dead now. He's more of a movie maker than a video game reviewer, but he made really, really, really entertaining video game reviews. Like really entertaining. Some of you might, anyone who's heard of Siren, you may have heard of his review of his review he did on Siren Blood Curse. And I'd say the one quote that's stuck with me is like, if you haven't played Resident Evil 4, you may think of yourself as a gamer, but in actual reality, you're just a shitty gamer. uh, and yeah, I think, yeah, maybe I should get to playing that eventually. It was really weird because I've played Resident Evil 5, like, back when it was new. This was March, yeah, March of 2009. This was just a month prior I got Xbox Live for 360. And, I played Resident Evil 5 and then played Resident Evil 6. And then eventually I played Resident Evil HD Remastered by on Steam. And I did play a bit of RE3 Nemesis. I do own a PS1 digital copy of my PS3. And I do actually remember playing on my Vita a bit, but I never actually managed to finish it. And weirdly enough, I've never really played RE4, but I started playing it, and yeah, I fucking died in the intro segment.
Yep.
Yeah, it has been a while since I've played a Resident Evil game, because the one thing I've noticed is that it's not like a traditional shooter. Like it was Resident Evil 4 was a bit of the pioneer of how most third-person shooters would work.
Oh, absolutely. And Resident Evil 4, it combined both horror and action. And because of how I think it was due to like the remake on GameCube not doing too well. Probably, well, of course.
Yeah,
but
but
the remake was a GameCube exclusive.
it doesn't really make sense for them to think, oh, it didn't too well on the GameCube, so therefore people don't like regular survival horror anymore, and the fixed camera angles and all that. Let's just make
Yeah,
it a
and
bit
that
more
like the
action.
sales of Resident Evil 4 and the fact that the GameCube remake failed influenced Resident Evil 5 and 6.
It had, I'm pretty sure it had more to do with the fact that it was on a platform that wasn't exactly as successful as the PS2 or Xbox. And,
Yeah, that's what I mean.
PS2 was the more successful, and it was the reason why it was eventually, RE4 was eventually ported to the PS2.
Yeah,
And,
and I think that's when Shinji Mikami left Capcom as well.
Yeah.
And then I think about 10 years later, it went to Bethesda.
Yeah. Let's move on to another topic. We have been talking about the Florida shootings and the shooting epidemic in the U.S.
Oh boy.
And it really sucks when this happens.
Yeah, it
But-
really does.
But this might sound really cynical of me, but it becomes really hard to care if people aren't willing to change it.
I feel the same way, actually.
And
Like,
some may
oh,
think, oh, why do you care? You're Canadian. This doesn't concern you. You don't have to deal with this shit. Well, I think it should be a concern, because it does concern me when this happens, and
Oh, especially me.
and no one's willing to fucking just they're not willing to find a definitive answer, and I can't really blame them, because every time I try to think about it, I always think back to Bowling for Columbine, the Michael Moore documentary. He compares America to a lot of other countries, and he runs down the numbers as to how many gun murders or kills in other countries. In a lot of other countries, the gun-related deaths are only in the hundreds, while America was up in the thousands or 12,000s, I believe. I'm trying to remember the exact number, but it was up in the thousands. And when he started comparing Canada to America, he started saying, wait, what's the difference between America and other countries? They watch the same violent movies we do. Hell, even all the violent games come from the Japan. And it shows clips of Mortal Kombat. And then he starts suggesting maybe dissociated youth, the breaking up of the American family, etc. And he interviews the guy who lost his son at Columbine, and he says that just raises a question: what makes us so different? They have dissociated youth, they have broken families, they have all the violent video games and movies. What is it? What is it?
I really don't know.
I have no idea, and that's what they said too. So
Like when it comes, like, it especially concerns me considering I'm a sophomore, and I'm still going through this. Like I think there was one that happened just about like I think about a couple like kilometers away from me, and it did scare me. I don't remember what one was, but most people were talking about it, and it really did concern me considering right after the one that happened, yeah, one of the infamous ones that happened recently, like it just been spreading all over the country.
Hmm. And what do you think of the fact that why do you think the media always points at video games or other forms of media, or why is it why do you think that is?
Because there's nothing else to talk about that is popular out there. Like games do draw people's attention, and the news certainly they're just probably going to target that for attention.
Yeah.
And
And it's
even then, showing the person's face and plastering their name on it would just even cause more problems.
and some may say the media is actually a definitive suspect as to why more of these shootings happen because you give these
Because
shooters
because
if
like because like the reason why I feel like the reason why people do this is because they want fame and they want attention. So they
they
pretty much
want
just go in there and just go on a massacre so they can get their name all over the news and become famous, probably for all the wrong
well,
reasons. But
not exactly famous. The word would be infamous.
yes, infamous. I mean infamous.
Infamy, fame, it's attention either way.
Yes, and that I feel like that's the only conclusion I can come up with this.
Mm.
And even then, I feel like I would have to go with what Bill Burr said about the whole thing. Like, stop showing the person's face
Yeah.
and just stop talking about it.
And I remember seeing the fucking court footage saying the guy who did the shooting. I didn't remember his name, but they like him like say some he's just a broken child. Well, no shit. I mean, like it's kind of and they try to drop sympathy for the guy. I
Drop
mean,
sympathy? Are you
yeah.
kidding me?
Well, keep in mind this is the lawyer, so I wouldn't blame the lawyer for saying that because it is technically her job. I mean, she was probably forced into it. Probably. I mean,
Most likely.
like if you're a lawyer, I
Right.
think if you're a lawyer, I think the last thing you want to do is defend someone who does something as horrendous as fucking like God. Like imagine if the guy who committed the Sandy Hook shooting didn't die and he went to trial, and someone had to defend the guy. A lawyer had to defend the same guy who killed like I forget the exact number, but who kills like school children, first graders, and teachers, and majority of those kills were children,
Jesus Christ.
which was horrifying. Is and it's like you think eventually like that was the worst shoot. You think that that's the worst of it. We hit bomb barrel. We hit the bomb of the barrel. And you would think by this point, now we draw a line. We draw a line. We need to fix something. We don't know what the answer is. We clearly do not know what the answer is because the media or no one is willing to have a real genuine discussion about it because everyone's pointing at the exact same thing they've been pointing at for years.
Oh yeah.
Be it video games, guns, and a lot of other things too. But mental health and overall, every time, like I said, you hit a wall every time you try to think of a definitive answer. Because
Oh yeah.
the scary here's the thing people don't want to admit. You imagine if someone opened up a news story saying when the shooting happens, like, we have no clear definitive answer. Violence just happens. It's part of our life. There's no way we can even prevent it or stop it. So people are fucked. Or some people have a couple screws loose. But no one wants an answer like that because like you don't want to tell people that violence can happen anytime because that's going to horrify them. We don't want to
Well,
scare
that's
people.
that's
We don't
basically
we don't want to scare people, but that's kind of the truth. Like violence
it
does
is.
happen, but it happens, but one may say, yeah, sure. One may argue, yes, violence does happen, but why does it happen to the escalating rate in America that it does? Why does it happen so much here versus everywhere else? Like, I mean, violence happens. If it happens everywhere, but why does it happen so much here?
I have no clue for that, honestly.
Yeah. And the thing is with the like And speaking of scapegoats, blaming video games, etc., etc. I do remember with Columbine, I believe the one major target was they were pointing at a lot of things, toy guns, South Park, where there was actually one genuine newscaster who basically just had one legit point, like where were the parents? Like only one, and South Park and and then one eventually said Marilyn Manson, and then domino effect started. Everyone said Marilyn Manson, Marilyn Manson, Marilyn Manson. It was Marilyn Manson influenced these two boys to commit this mass shooting, and yeah, he became a scapegoat because it's not hard for him not to be a scapegoat because, like he said, when Michael Moore interviewed him in Bowling for Columbine, he said, "I understand why they picked me. I'm a pretty good I'm a poster boy for fear, and I represent what people fear." And funny enough, he's completely different versus how he is on stage or in his music. He seems like a pretty chill dude. It's pretty funny. Like you ever listen to Marilyn Manson or ever heard of him?
No, I never have actually. Never really heard of him before then.
Yeah, he does heavy metal type music.
Oh, I'm not into heavy metal. That just like, unless if it's like the COD Zombie soundtrack back in the day, I'm not too interested.
Okay, next topic. Ready Player One.
Ooh, this would be fun.
So, thoughts?
I'm actually looking forward to this film. Like, it's not based on the references. Well, to an extent, it might be. Like, for example, you saw Spartans in the trailer, and that pretty much resurrected like the Halo child that was before then. But even then, looking at the film's concept, it still looks like a really interesting film, and how the world is relying on virtual reality to like connect with entirely new worlds.
And when I remember seeing the trailer, I realized it was based off the book. And what year did that book come out?
I think 2011.
Yeah, 2011. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I believe that was just a year before Oculus actually started the Kickstarter campaign, and that's what started the whole VR craze to begin with. Yeah, I like to think the writer, he was kind of seeing the future there.
Oh yeah, and I bet like in 20 years everybody's gonna be using VR headsets for like realities.
I don't know. I'm still a bit iffy on VR, to be honest. I'm always kind of worried that VR might be another example of it's like a phase or a trend that just fades away, like motion gaming.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
you know
yeah. Like I've tried VR before, and it does have a place if there was like more games out there for it.
like with motion gaming, you actually remember fucking Kinect? Like
Oh
dance.
god, the fucking Kinect. Oh, this game should be renamed to Steel Battalion. Get your fucking hand off that. I remember that review from Angry Joe. That was hilarious.
And speaking of Kinect, that just reminds me of the press comments. You ever know what the bottom of Avatar's shoes look like? Well, bam! There it is. and his fucking Avatar model is all distorted like brick and bones, and imagine the actual guy actually looked like that.
Oh god.
So yeah, you could tell, like, when they first released it on the 360, you could tell it was really still in the experimental phase.
Oh yeah.
And
It
to
was.
to this day, I still ponder as to why they fucking bundled that thing with the X-Bone. Like, nobody wanted it.
I don't know. Like,
And
I think the reason why they wanted to bundle it with that fucking piece of shit of a system is so the NSA could spy on you while you're masturbating.
Oh. And yeah, nobody actually, nobody was developing games for the fucking thing.
And even then,
and-
all the games for it are coming to Windows 10, and I'm like, what's the fucking point of buying it?
Yeah, and that's another thing with Microsoft. They don't exactly have exclusives. It's not exactly exclusive. It's coming to your PC platform.
Oh yeah. Like, what's the point? Like, I'm thinking about building a computer someday, and I'm like, I could play like Quantum Break on Steam. Oh, granted, that game may be underwhelming. That's just an example.
Like, your two competitors have, like, actual genuine exclusives. The Nintendo and Sony. They have
Oh yeah,
genuine
like with
exclusives.
PlayStation, there's like a shit ton of examples. For like Nintendo, I can probably name like a
Bloodborne.
few, like Bayonetta, for example.
and we got the Uncharted series. That's an easy one.
Oh yeah, they got their
Actually
Spider-Man,
kind of
God
wish.
of War.
Oh yeah, and we have Insomniac, the same guys who developed Ratchet and Clank. They're now developing the new Spider-Man game.
Oh yeah, like as soon as I heard that they're making the game, I'm actually thinking about. I'm actually wanting to play that.
I'm still amazed that a movie license games like a movie license game
It's not really a movie license game.
no,
It's
no,
not.
no. What I was about to say was I'm amazed that a movie license game would be so good that years later more Spider-Man games would follow it.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
Like,
granted, some of those other Spider-Man games weren't very good. Like I think the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is a perfect example. But there were some.
yeah.
There were some decent examples, Web of Shadows, I believe.
Oh yeah, yeah. It shows the alternate versions of Spider-Man. We had the original Amazing Spider-Man. For some reason, Ultimate Spider-Man, like
That one was
it
like
was
Shadow Dimensions.
it was yeah, it was kind of weird how they introduced Ultimate Spider-Man, even though like yeah, they could tell yeah, we can't have these two together because they look too similar aside from height or age. So I guess let's just put the black suit on them so we can separate the two, I guess. And then there was Spider-Man Noir, which was Spider-Man in the 40s, and then we have Spider 2099 or 2099, I think. Yeah, I might have the year wrong, so some people may correct me on that. Um, yeah, overall, it's amazing how a movie license game laid down the formula for all future Spider-Man games would follow because like movie license games don't actually have a very
Very good place in the industry. Like
no.
I can think of like a few good examples of movie
It's
license games. Well, I can think of only one, and that's Alien Isolation.
That's one good example because
Oh yeah,
the developers behind it were actually genuine fans. They really wanted to recapture the style
and they did it actually.
of
After playing it, I actually want to see the films.
they simply took Ridley Scott's Alien and put it into a video game, and they successfully did that.
Oh god, I was terrified while playing that. I think playing a fucking VR version of that would give me a heart attack. I'm not
Yeah,
even joking.
you can actually do that, and I
Oh
actually
god, wait, there actually is?
yeah, you actually can do that. I literally remember a while ago seeing a GameSpot video. This was years ago. Like um, basically they were showing guys, everyone at the office playing Alien Isolation with VR. Probably the hilarious thing is like the one thing that can happen is as you know as you're crawling into the mid animation, right? If the alien
Yeah.
catches you mid animation, he's grabbing your feet, and basically yeah, this guy in VR is like, and you start screaming like a little bitch, like ah ah ah. Well, I can't do that scream justice. Like you would have to see that video for yourself if I can find the
Oh
fucker. But
god. Oh god. I think
like the
I
guy,
think about that one part where the alien is like had this like crackling noise as the jaw opens up.
yeah.
That would scare the fuck out of me if I was playing VR. And it still does to this very day, even after
And then there's the fucking footsteps and the running.
and the AI.
Oh yeah, they really wanted to capture the alien because keep in mind the alien is a creature that like learns from you. It learns from what you do and adapts.
Oh yeah. It's not like Colonial Marines where they can just run up to you and you can just like hit them
Oh
multiple times.
yeah, the fucking
Or they could just
like
like stand in a wall and just fucking and just jog across the wall.
yeah yeah they just yeah yeah, and there was this one funny video where animation alien was basically bouncing around up and down like that frog in that Looney Tunes
Oh
cartoon.
god, I've seen that.
Hello,
I've
my
seen
baby.
that.
Hello, my honey.
Hello, my
Hello, my
honey.
right time,
Right time.
right time
Oh
gal.
god. I remember that.
Oh
That
man.
was actually really funny.
Actually, wait. We may have went off topic there. We were actually talking about Ready Player One, weren't we?
Oh yes. Oh
Yeah.
fuck.
See, I knew we would trail off eventually.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh absolutely.
Actually,
That's the first
that
time we
actually
come to start a
reminds
podcast
me.
show.
I actually want you to look at something here. Like, you ever see
Oh,
the
like,
poster?
I know Tracer is in the movie.
Have you ever seen the poster?
Yeah, and how his leg is fucking stretched out.
Like, what the fuck? It's like his leg is just... it's like you don't even notice it at first. It's like wait, it's like you look at it, it's like oh.
Oh,
It's
oh,
just it's like what the fuck. It's like
oh yeah.
like I'm trying to imagine him actually standing and use like his right leg is so tall, like longer than the other, and his like leg is like down neutral and it's like midair. Oh,
Oh God.
and yeah, like I said prior before we went off topic. Yeah, overall, looking at the trailer, um, we've had a lot of movies based on many video game franchises like Resident Evil.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
like the live action films don't really do
there
it too well.
was a Halo movie in the works, but that didn't really pan out.
Like with
Uh,
Spielberg, like there has been Forward Unto Dawn, which is like a
oh
technically a
yeah, yeah,
prequel.
yeah. There was Four Unto Dawn, but personally, from what I've seen, it looks really cheap. Like especially if you look at fucking Master Chief's armor.
Master Chief's armor. I think Chief's armor is directly based
and
off of Halo
and
Legends.
and actually if you actually paid attention to Halo lore, technically in terms of the timeline, like Chief was probably like still like young.
Yeah,
And he sounds older.
yeah, probably because they
It's
couldn't get an actor
like
that's
it,
like 7 feet.
like yeah, obviously they might have realized this is like yeah, we don't want Master Chief to sound like a prepubescent boy.
Oh yeah, I still found
Yeah.
the film to be actually really interesting in the end.
Yeah, and it was supposed to give you context as to who that one character is in Halo 4.
Lasky.
Yeah, Lasky. Um, yeah, I don't think he was really that much of a memorable character, and I don't, and you, and from what I've seen, I remember seeing all cutscenes Halo 5. I avoid it because from what I've seen, it's
Oh
fucking
god,
horrible.
that game.
Like 343, they committed the exact same mistake Bungie did with Halo 2. Master
Oh
Chief,
god.
would you mind telling me what you're doing on that ship, sir? Finishing this fight, and then end credits.
God, that is one of the worst fucking endings in a game ever. As much
Yeah,
as I love Halo 2.
they really wanted you. Oh fuck! Now I gotta play the next one. God
3
damn
years
it.
later, 2007 arrives.
And hey, and to be fair, Halo 3 turned out to be okay. Gave a definitive ending for Halo 3, unless you count the fucking legendary ending.
Wait. Oh, yeah, you actually
Yeah,
play the
the
game on Legendary.
yeah the planet you see
Red Out
uh
Requiem.
yeah it leads to that. That's what it was foreshadowing to. Um,
Yeah, I think in Halo 4, it actually shows Master Chief's face a little bit. I think it does, yeah.
yeah, yeah, just
Like,
for like a brief
like
second.
even though I do think, before you should stay the fuck away from Halo, I do think Halo 4 had a decent campaign.
Yeah, we
Like
went
it
off
actually
trailer.
it tied up Halo 3's loose ends, and for what it did it pretty damn well. But the
Yeah,
multiplayer is fucking abominable. Jesus, the
yeah,
multiplayer sucks.
it was kind of actually trying to take notes from Call of Duty, and
Like
to a
the
point
maps
where
in the Halo 4's multiplayer were too big,
it
and
didn't really feel like Halo anymore.
like the sprint feature. I can defend the sprint feature from Reach because at least that was like an armor ability, and like in
I
Halo
mean,
4,
I would defend the sprint, the inclusion of sprint, because if you're gonna have sprint, like having sprint as an armor ability is kind of retarded.
I just think, well, for me, I think having sprint and like multiplayer kind of takes away Halo for me.
Yeah. Yeah, we kind of went off trail again. Like I said, Ready Player One.
Yep, like the film does, like Ready Player One does look like a really enjoyable film, and for what its story has to offer, I do think that's pretty interesting as well. Beside all the references like the Iron Giant,
Yeah,
Tracer, and Master Chief.
Yeah, and actually you see multiple Master Chiefs like fighting
Yeah,
in
you
galactic
see
VR,
multiple
like
Spartans.
a VR war. Like
Oh, yeah.
I don't exactly know the story. It's like they're trying to topple the
I
government,
think the creator of Oasis left an Easter egg in there, and
they're
whoever
trying
finds that
to
Easter egg gains over a shit ton of money and full control of Oasis.
like they're like basically have this VR battle, like trying to crumble the powers that be, like the big government, Big Brother.
Oh yeah. Oh, speaking of that, Ready Player One is basically the movie version of net neutrality.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like everyone's fighting for something out there, and in the real world, we're fighting for our fucking internet.
Yeah, fucking Ajit Pai, man. With his fucking Reese's coffee cup. Oversized coffee cup. Little bitch. It's like, what the fuck is up with that Reese's cup? Like that Reese's...
I have no clue. It's like if he wants to be memed.
It's
But
like,
anyway.
like, he has the most punchable face.
I agree with you.
He does. He has the most punchable face, just right in the fucking teeth. And it was bad enough that he was putting this whole thing into action. Then we have him making that YouTube video saying, "Hey, don't worry, you get to do all the stupid bullshit. Like you can gram your food, you can be part of all the fan bases, and you can run memes into the ground." And then he starts playing the fucking Harlem Shake. I'm like, dude, that's ancient by internet times
Oh
now.
god, I remember when the Harlem Shake was popular back
It's
then.
like-
Everything was dropping
like,
on the ground.
It would be even worse if he started playing fucking Numa Numa, but I doubt people even remember that now.
I don't know what that is. But anyway, back to Ready Player One. The film does look pretty interesting for what it is, and even then, it's a Spielberg film. Spielberg has made mostly good films, while granted, Crystal Skull.
Yeah, and speaking of VR, like I said, with the writer of the book, I'd say he really did predict VR and maybe where it would go, where video games might be going. I'm
Oh
still
yeah, I've tried VR before at Nathan's house, and it's fantastic.
And I did say I was skeptical, or I am still a bit skeptical, but I think the one thing that might put me on board VR chat, which actually gave birth to the fucking "Do you know the way" fucking meme.
Do you know the way? Oh, I can't fucking do that.
It's like that.
Like,
Spit,
what gets me on board for PlayStation
spit
VR
on the
is like,
fake
was
queen.
super hot.
spit on the fake
Spit
queen.
on the fake queen, my brother!
My brothers, spit on the fake queen. It's like
Holy
it's a
shit.
complete fucking shit show VR chat.
I know, it's basically the fucking glitchy version of Oasis.
And not only that, I also saw another game basically. It was basically bar. It was VR bar fight or something. Basically, it's you and a friend or a bunch of other guys in a bar. You can like drink alcohol and all that. Like it's like, oh, I'm pouring you beer. It's beer in you. Oh shit, you dropped the ball in my tooth. Oh, it broke.
Oh god. And super hot VR makes me interested in picking up PlayStation VR. Because it makes you feel like a fucking superhero.
Yeah. Like, and there was this one bit where fucking started throwing a stool at the guy. Oh, what, you in Boston? Oh, man. And let's move on to the next topic. Installation 1. And
Ooh.
we may both be Halo fans, but you know more about this project than I do.
Absolutely. So what Installation 01 is, it's a fan-made Halo game with the intent to recreate the classic Bungie era experience. I'm actually going to go to the website and read it off to you all instead of just me fucking stuttering. I'll probably fuck it up since I can't read either.
Yeah.
It's being made by Halo lovers working from around the world, and they also aim to build an artistic tribute to Halo that recreates the multiplayer experience of the Bungie era games.
So,
And
so
like
it's
it
basically
it's a combination
it's a fan,
of the
it's a
best
fan
parts.
project.
Yeah, it's a fan project. It's basically they're collaborating with the best parts of Halo 2 for Combat Evolved and even Reach.
And actually, from the videos you showed me, from I saw, they wanted to keep a balance between the designs. You wanted to keep a balance between modern Halo and old Halo. Like they didn't want to leave out any either the hardcore.
Oh yeah, like I
the
think
older
they're like
fans or the newer fans.
official matchmaking. It's going to be mostly classic Halo, but you can enable the free for free features and like custom games.
Yeah. And speaking of custom games, I remember with Halo, I would have a lot of fun with custom games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like fucking, I do remember this one game type. Basically, they recreated Quidditch from the Harry Potter films. Basically, you start out with just a jetpack, and I forget exactly how they managed to work. But there was also one other map. It was basically Halo 3, Mirror's Edge.
Oh boy.
It was the map from the Mythic Map Pack. Yeah, it was a map. Like it was this really good map that was full of possibilities. You create really interesting map with interesting custom games with that map. And basically, I think it was something along the lines of those Counter Strike momentum things. They would have corners, but you know those corner maps. Basically, the corners would create momentum, and you would slide on these corners.
Yeah, it's called surfing.
Yeah, surfing. Yeah, it was kind of like that. You were kind of parkouring on corners made with the assets on the map. And every time you die, basically you start back right back at the beginning, which is a pretty good map. And I'd say,
Yeah, it was
and the
enjoyable.
one, and I think the one really popular game type that was actually started with Halo 3 was the infection game type. Like
I was about to guess that.
I was, I do remember playing a lot of that because that was really fun. Like there was one called Fat Kid, where there would be one player who would start out as the infected. He has a grav hammer. He has like infinite health or infinite amount of shields, basically. Like he takes a lot of damage and he goes really slow and he has a grav hammer. And basically it starts right at the bottom and there's this like set timer. Like there's this door that would lead to a spiral stairway. But here's the thing, the timer would be just long enough for the door that eventually the big fat kid, like the slow guy, eventually would at least kill one or two of you. And by the time two are gone, like the rest of the other players would be going up the stairwell, and the people who get affected by the fat kid actually become normal infected at normal speed and have energy swords. It was actually
Yeah.
really fun. And it was at, and by the way, it's fat kid with PH, fat with a PH.
All right. Yeah. I Installation 01's also gonna have the infection game type.
Oh yeah, it is like for like if you're gonna make a fan game, it's best to include all the things, everything
Oh
that
yeah,
was
it's
left
gonna
out.
include some. It's gonna include all the things in there. And just recently, they actually made some a new update with the Mark 6 armor, a remade version of the Mark 6 in 4K, and it looks sexy.
Oh yeah.
It looks fucking beautiful,
Hmm.
like Magic Man. Got Magic Man over here.
How long was this project in the work? Like how many years exactly?
I think since 2014, I believe.
2014. Huh.
Yep.
So about 4 years now? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or about to be 4 years, depending on what month they started in that year. Uh, yeah, interesting. Anyway, let's move on to our next topic. Hunt Down the Freeman.
Holy shit. A game that fucking steals assets from other games.
Yeah.
I wonder how this game is still on Steam. No, I'm gonna go on. I'm gonna go on Steam right now and see if it's still available. See if that scam is on there.
How much do you think it goes for?
Probably about $2.
Maybe for $1 million.
Did Oh fuck no! I'm not gonna take all my allowances to play one game.
No. Like if you're gonna buy a game, better buy a game that's worth your time, man.
Oh yeah, like Halo 3.
Or Witcher 3.
I'm actually gonna play that game sometime.
Witcher 3 for me is actually one of the greatest RPGs ever made.
Huh.
Like some may disagree with me. Like you know what, you would have a ground to stand on if you were someone who's
Oh my god.
much I think much older gamers might have a ground to stand on. For anyone who might disagree with me on that, like there have been
Well,
many.
Hunt Down the Freeman is still on the fucking store, and it's $25.
You think it would be taken off given the controversy it stirred?
Nope.
Huh. Like
Oh.
I do remember some games at least being removed for not meeting the quality standards.
Well, what do you expect from Steam? They had the Steam Greenlight feature, and Jim Sterling was basically having so much fun tearing apart games.
Yeah,
He basically got fucking sued for it.
and Total Biscuit has torn down a lot of such games, much like
Like Day One Gary's Incident. That's a
Yeah,
infamous one.
and he got his video taken down just for what he said in the video. It's like, yeah, some people just can't handle criticism.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And
I'm surprised that fucking game even got released.
what exactly is
Considering
that game about? Is it like well,
it's basically this. this one guy named Mitchell goes into Black Mesa for some fucking reason and gets attacked by someone who looks like Gordon Freeman. Keep in mind, looks like Gordon Freeman, and just fucks up his face. And he just wants revenge for him. He wants revenge all because he fucked up his face. That's the fucking story of that game.
That's a story.
And I think the fucking best line in the game is right at the very end when Mitchell says, "You fucked up my face," and then a gunshot goes off. That's made me laugh so hard. Because that's the sole reason why he went after Freeman in the first place.
You fucked
Even though he's a fucking another character. Oh, I'm sorry, I just spoiled the game for you. I've saved $25 from you.
Like, does he say in a deep voice, like, "You fucked up my face"?
You fucked up my face. Oh, I should fucking send it to you. Holy shit.
And
it is absolutely hilarious.
And I'm coming back for revenge. It's like,
oh my god.
Like he basically got his face fucked up, and who's the main character? Like a trained military veterans, like you got your face fucked up by a fucking you got your face fucked up by a mute who has no prior military training. He's just a fucking 27-year-old physicist.
Oh my fucking god. Yep, the fucking thing is on here. Hang on. Here you go. You fucked up my face. It's a fucking deep voice. It's absolutely hilarious. I think my audio recorder might pick this up, but who cares? It's gold. Holy shit.
Yeah, where are you exactly? Yeah.
I already seen it. It's just 3 seconds. Just watch it.
My face.
You fucked up my face. Yeah,
the game's voice acting is fucking abominable.
Like the guy, you know, it's kind of weird. The guy's face kind of has that. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm not even gonna go there. He doesn't.
He looks like he looks like a fucking emo kid in his 40s.
You don't understand me, Dad. You don't understand me. You don't understand me, Dad. I'm a werewolf.
Mitchell's basically Jodie from Beyond Two Souls when she's a fucking emo.
You don't understand me. I'm a dementia-sexual.
But like even Alex from I Hate Everything has openly stated that he hated the game and he had no clue what was going on, even though he voiced an Asian character in that game. And fucking Keepstar, oh my god, the Gnome Star. The President of the United States of motherfucking America. Are you kidding?
Jesus.
Well, actually, Keemstar is our president. Would probably be. Oh God, no! I think Keemstar would be worse.
Oh boy, he would.
He will probably just drop a nuke on Alex. And I'm not talking about I Hate Everything. I mean the other Alex.
Like, you think they would have a much, just to get on a much, get a bit more serious here. You think Steam would much of a higher standard with their games, even if it's just like a fan project or something like that? It's like
no, I don't even think the game shouldn't be priced anyway because it's a fan game. No. Like that's basically copyright.
Like there have been fan games that simply just fan games that were just simply free or just mods you can play on like Half-Life 2.
Oh yeah, I just don't really get. Fucking hell, I can't speak. I just don't know how this game could pretty much get away with its price. I think Black Mesa is like priced too, but I don't know how to put that into words.
All right.
Oh boy, and even then, one of the fucking voice actors in that game, the person who imitates the G-Man, he mispronounced Black Mesa with Black Mesa.
Here's a legit question. Which type of games have a lower quality? Current AAA gaming or fan games such as Hunt Down the Freeman?
That's a tough question.
Yeah,
that's a very tough question. Like, fan games can either go from being great to absolute abominations, while AAA games can go saying, "Hey, you want to save your game? Pay $10, motherfucker."
And yeah, I do feel like in some aspects, AAA gaming has been getting kind of lazy. Or it's not exactly lazy. It's mostly, from what I've read up with many developers, it's more about deadlines or the fact that, like, there are yearly releases like the latest Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty, and I'm still surprised that people aren't getting sick of some of these yearly releases, like the daily Ubisoft Sandbox game. Like either it be the next Far Cry, the next Watch Dogs, like or Assassin's Creed. To me, it's like all the same for me. Like,
Yeah.
and speaking of Far Cry, I'm still kind of skeptical on that game. Like I don't know,
Like
it
my
seems
friend Nathan, my friend Nathan's already fucking pre-ordered it.
um
He's already got the book and everything.
actually, since we're speaking of Far Cry, since we're talking about the newest release, what do you think of Far Cry as a franchise? And I'm gonna assume you probably at least played Far Cry 3. I'm pretty
I
sure.
played Far Cry. I never played Far Cry 3, but I have played Far Cry 2 before, long
Oh
ago.
yeah? You mean the one that doesn't exactly have a HUD? They basically like when you're looking at your map, you literally look at a fucking map.
I don't know. Honestly, the Far Cry games, they're all right. I will have to agree with everybody by looking. Even though I haven't
Well,
played it, I'm looking at
you'll
everyone's
be
standards.
you might be happy to know that the newer Far Cry games, Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 are or from 5 especially will be are actually a lot more streamlined.
Yeah, I know. I never really enjoyed the series, but as it progressed, I do think it has gotten better.
Like
Especially
I
with 3,
and
considering
and
that
the
was like a
one
peak in the series.
and the one memorable thing about Far Cry 3 is the main character Voss.
Well, Voss is the villain, actually. Jason's main character.
Yeah. Like
Jason!
Jace. God fucking damn it. Like
I had to do that.
Heavy Rain. David Cage. He
Has a giant ego.
oh yeah. And you know what? For me, David Cage games, be it Indigo Prophecy or as it's known in Europe, Fahrenheit, or Heavy Rain, or Beyond Two Souls, they're the best example of so bad it's good type games. But
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
the weird thing is, finding so bad it's good type games is kind of hard to find because if a game, usually what makes a game bad for a lot of people is usually the fact that it's playable or not, or it
Oh,
plays
yeah.
well.
Like,
But
there is a different term when it comes to me. Like,
per,
recently I played Outlast 2 last year.
for example, like if a game has a really bad story, does that really make it as so bad it's good? I mean, Resident Evil didn't exactly have much of a fucking good, or actually Resident Evil in general doesn't have that great of a story, and plus the fucking Resident Evil continuity is just batshit insane anyways.
Oh, yeah. Especially Resident Evil Vendetta, when missiles are going through buildings in New York.
Oh
And
boy.
when Chris is like rolling down
Wait,
and the main villain can't even
you're
fucking shoot him at point blank range.
you're referring to one of the CGI movies, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. There was that other one. I do actually remember one of them that came out like around
There
2009.
was Degeneration, Damnation, and Vendetta.
Which one was the one in the fucking airport? It was Leon and
That was Degeneration.
yeah,
Yeah, Leon and Claire.
yeah, Claire
That,
Redfield.
that one
Yeah.
was alright.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's been a while since I last saw it. I do remember renting it from a video store back when video stores were still a thing.
Oh yeah, I actually I do have a rental store, and that's how I saw Vendetta.
Yeah. And yeah, let's move on to our next topic. Microtransactions.
Oh, where do I fucking begin?
Where to start?
I've lost friends because of this fucking topic.
Why is that? Like you think
Fanboys.
you think really you think people wouldn't be that split on this like
Especially the Grand Theft Auto community, like they would defend anything.
microtransactions for me is very anti-gamer, to be honest.
Absolutely. And sometimes they would actually slow down the game and just make it so boring. And Grand Theft Auto Online is a perfect example where the game is just so boring that you're like, you know what, I might as well just fucking buy my way through this because like this game's not getting any better.
I mean, personally, it's like the game's only boring unless you have like no one to play it with.
Even
Like-
with friends,
like,
even
I
with
mean-
friends, it gets stale.
If like even if you're just by yourself in GTA Online, I may as well be doing all this in single player. What's the
Even
difference?
even playing with friends starts to get boring after like a year or so.
A bit. I mean, that's the reason why I'm a little skeptical about Red Dead Redemption 2 and its online because
Yeah,
I do remember like the GTA Online. Well, I mean Rockstar Games online games overall. Both Red Dead and GTA GTA 4 to Red Dead to GTA 5, they all have very similar online states. They have a free mode, and you can go into set lobbies and such and such. GTA 4 did have the free mode and the same uh, game types, but the one thing I noticed about the original Red Dead, they refined it. They added stuff for you to do in the free mode, but including the game types. But one cool thing, you can set up a posse. Like you can team up with people in the free mode, and like you can get fucking wars going on. Like you can have like, I don't know the lobby cap, but I've never encountered it, but I would love to encounter a lobby where there was like one half on one side and one half together. It's like a big firefight, big war going on
yeah,
horseback.
yeah. But because of how Take-Two Interactive wants to incorporate microtransactions in all their games, including Rockstar's projects, I just have no interest in buying any of their new games
I,
anymore.
it will be a problem if they start implementing microtransactions in single player game.
Yeah, that
And
probably will happen.
we first noticed that with the latest Middle Earth game.
That was Warner Brothers, actually.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm thinking of in terms of the industry overall. Like
Yeah, I agree.
it's like that was the very, very, very first example of a single player game that has microtransactions, and I just do not understand that because like well, actually I do understand it.
Money.
They just money, yeah. And it can really ruin a fucking game because at a certain point, like near the end game, from what I've heard,
I
is
heard that the end game takes like I think about more than days.
it's a really big grind to a point where the grind is so bad that you'd be like, yeah, fuck it, I need to buy shit just so I can finally finish this fucking thing. And
So basically,
and
like Grand
and
Theft Auto
then
Online. Like in
and
order to have fun, you would have to have like a fucking modded account or something, or just pay your way through.
yeah, and in retrospect, like it makes visiting such games much harder. It's like there's just this restriction, just this wall blocking you from just enjoying the game. It's like
Yep.
it's the same thing with Star Wars Battlefront. Those microtransactions. That was an example. The Middle Earth game Shadow of War was an example of implementing microtransactions into single player games. But uh, Battlefront 2 is an example of including microtransactions that break balance in terms of like gameplay balance in an online setting, which is really bad. Like I mean, I don't exactly agree or disagree with microtransactions if it's something that doesn't affect the game. If it
Yeah.
doesn't affect the game at all, then I could care less. Like Overwatch with its loot crates and all you can get is hats, emotes, sprays, skins, etc.,
Yeah,
etc.
that's how it should work.
I still don't really get it. I mean, like you're putting down like how much is loot box? Like
I
one
don't know,
like
like maybe
two,
10, 20,
one
100, something.
one 199 I believe.
199 to possibly 100, depending on how greedy the company is.
Well, I don't think they would be 100 individually, but I'm sure anyone who has like gambling issues, because it is technically gambling, they would get pretty
Yeah,
addicted.
that's also another problem with microtransactions. That it can also cause people to have addictions and throw their money pretty much down the toilet, metaphorically.
Yeah, and overall, and the one thing I don't understand, it's not even that good type of gambling. At least with normal gambling, there's a it's obviously rigged against you, but at least there's like a chance you can at least win some money. Like I don't expect like say you go to Vegas and you win some spending money. Say you come in with 1,000 and you come out with 4,000 more dollars, which adds up to 5,000.
Yeah.
Would you like? Well, the thing is with like gambling, people don't know when to stop. But for people who do stop, they can at least come out with some money. With loot crates, all you're getting is skins.
You're just getting like electronic shit.
And plus, it's a first-person game. You don't see the skin other when you're doing emotes, and other than that, it's kind of pointless.
Yeah.
I mean, sure, you might notice a slight difference with your gun model or your hand, but who the fuck cares?
Who the fuck cares?
Like, I mean, like you can easily just unlock the skins naturally, but then again, they always have it rigged in such a way. Because I remember seeing one video where this guy, he basically just buys a bunch of loot crates, be like, and in the stream he's like, I swear to fucking God, I'm just gonna buy the skin I want now, and if the next loot box I open just gives me another copy of that same skin, I'm gonna flip out. Or actually no, I don't think it will happen in the next loot box. It will probably happen in the next 2 or 3. And he opens the first loot box he opens, the skin he just bought shows up. It's like, yeah, anything you already have, chances are that might show up. Anything you don't have, the chance of that showing up is pretty nil to none.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's set up in such a way for you, like they're just it's like you're a kid dangling keys in front of you, like your dad's car keys, like, you want it, you want that, oh shit, I almost knocked over my microphone, shit, you want your you want the skin, you want some skins, then give me another dollar, give me $2 more, and then before you know it, you spent over like $500 or charged your parents' credit card $500.
Oh my God.
And yes, and that's the worst thing about microtransactions is there have been cases of kids like charging their parents' credit cards like thousands of dollars on virtual shit.
Yep.
Like, I don't get it. Like, especially with CS:GO skins, like what value is there in that?
I don't know. Like the
What?
fucking, like maybe a rainbow color to signify who you are or something, or
Like-
maybe a fucking wavy color or something. I don't know. Like, why can't we just unlock them through a upgrading progression system like back in the day?
I can understand the value in anything in the physical, but anything virtual, I just don't get.
Like, if you can like pay your way with these loot boxes, what's the point of playing the fucking game?
And plus, actually, let me rephrase that. Me saying that makes it sound like, oh well, if you're saying there's no value in virtual, then a game should be worth less than $60. Well, a game does have value, but an individual small item, it's just a very small minuscule bit of a game.
I know.
It's very insignificant that you're just wasting your money. Is it adding anything to your gaming experience? No? Then why put all this money into skins? I just don't get it. And speaking of microtransactions, I'm surprised I held off this for this long. Metal Gear Survive is the latest example of this. And
Yep, $10 save slots. No, I made a reference to that earlier.
Character slots.
That's fucking bullshit.
And this is a very controversial topic because we all know from the get-go, the moment this game was released, we know this was going to be a cash grab. We know that with Konami firing Kojima, who is now on his own, now with Sony, and having his own studio working on
Death Stranding.
Death Stranding with Norman Reedus. We know that Konami is cashing in on this, even though I really don't get, because like you think they moved on from gaming at this point, because from what I researched with that whole debacle going on, you would think they were simply just you would think MGS5 would be Konami's last thing they would ever do involved with AAA gaming, because after that they would be involved with gambling or pachinko. You know what pachinko is?
Yep.
Yeah, it's just
Japanese gambling.
it's basically this like slot machine, like
An interactive like slot machine.
It's
Yeah.
not exactly gambling, but I don't know. It's like it's sort of not, sort of is
It's like
gambling.
if it's like if you're playing Silent Hill 2 and then the game interrupts you and you say pull the lever.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure. Like pachinko, the big industry that is, in Japan, gambling is illegal, but apparently it's basically this one thing that they have that just that has this loophole to it. So that's why it's so profitable over there, and why Konami has made many video game versions of pachinko machines, which is really fucking weird because a lot of Japanese men who play pachinko machines are in the older demographic. Like they don't.
Yeah, and
like,
they probably played those games before then. Like Silent Hill is a perfect example.
and plus they probably didn't, and they don't really. And I mean old, as in like they don't even exactly know what it is they're playing. Like they're making these video game versions of pachinko machines as if more young gamers would be interested in playing these things, like sinking their money in this, even though they can just play the actual game. And
Yeah,
what's more insulting, the MGS3 pachinko machine, right?
that is fucking insulting.
Yeah, they simply remade cutscenes of MGS3 with the Fox engine. It just gives you a glimpse as to what a MGS3 HD remaster would look like, or
Oh yeah,
remake would
someone
look
speaking
like.
of that, somebody actually remade a level in MGS3 in the Fox engine.
Yeah, I did see that. It looked pretty good. It really, and it might be, it, I don't know. Like, I think it might, maybe if they simply made, it might be best if maybe they just, I'm kind of trailing off. I'm trying to think here. Uh, should they if they were to make a MGS3 remaster, is it going to be exactly like MGS5, or would they stick to the exact same style, you think?
They would probably just go with the survive route and just throw microtransactions in it.
Yeah, well, this is me under the assumption that Konami, this is hypothetical, that Konami, or what if scenario, that Konami didn't fire Kojima, and he managed to make the MGS5 for what it is, and the story wasn't butchered, and he made Silent Hills, and then he made fucking MGS3 remaster, I guess. But then again, one may argue that that probably wouldn't have happened in that hypothetical scenario because Kojima,
Koshami.
Koshami,
Dale Koshami.
Kojima have said for years with MGS2, 3, 4, and 5, he said, this is going to be my last MGS game, I swear to God. And every time he said, it's like, yeah, no, I need to make another one. Um, but it seemed a lot more definitive with MGS5, I believe, because like I figured this would be the last. Or actually, do you think, like, here's another question. Do you think MGS5 was only the last real MGS game because Konami fired Kojima? Or
Yes.
if Kojima remained with Konami, do you think he would have made another?
Probably not, considering he was making Silent Hills at the
I
time.
mean, it would have kept
I
him busy, but I'm thinking,
I'm
like,
thinking probably not. Probably not,
probably not.
considering how Solid Snake's story was wrapped up in MGS4 and Big Boss's story was sort of coming to a conclusion with the Phantom Pain.
Hmm. All right, let's move on to the next topic. The
Yeah,
ESRB statement on loot boxes.
bullshit.
Yeah. And and as we were discussing earlier, with the effects gambling has on kids and such, like,
Like there is
charging.
a difference when it comes to that pathetic statement. Like there is a difference with bonus levels and all. Let me actually go read that statement right now.
All right. Because
I'm gonna find it.
I have read a bit of it with you, but you have the honors, my friend.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna read off to the viewers because they they obviously know what's going on, but and I'm getting messages.
And while you're reading, I will have a cigarette.
So that's probably a bad idea in my personal opinion. But
Yeah,
that's
it
your decision.
is, but it's kind of too late now.
All right. Yeah. All right. Let's read this hypothetical word of bullshit. You may have noticed that we've been a little quiet on the topic of in-game purchases and loot boxes, but we've been listening. Bullshit. In fact, we absorbed every tweet. Bullshit. Email. Bullshit. Facebook post and singing telegram sent our way. Bullshit. And we have been working with a sensible approach to let gamers and parents know when a game offers the option to purchase additional content. Okay, we've been purchasing additional content for years. Like, we're focusing on loot boxes, gambling. So, like, look into the subject deeper. Starting soon, the ESRB will be assigning a brand new label to physical games and game purchases. Oh, fucking Christ. This label, or as we call it, interactive element, will appear on boxes, and whenever those games can be downloaded for all games that offer the ability to purchase digital goods or premiums with real-world currency. This includes features like bonus levels, that's downloadable content, skins, that technically can go in there, but that's also downloadable content as well. Surprise items, okay, that's loot boxes. There's item packs, okay, that's probably DLC. Loot boxes, okay, that's our problem. You just need to look deeper into it. Mystery awards, that can probably go into loot boxes as well. Music, virtual coins, and other forms of in-game currency. Subscriptions is fucking different. Season passes, that's downloadable content. And upgrades, that's probably upgrades to like get a better performance. And more. We're also launching a new website, parentaltools.org, to help raise awareness on the helpful tools that parents can use to manage the amount of time or money those crafty kids spend playing games. Use the word crafty. This is our first step to many. We continue to discuss how to further enhance our rating system with publishers, developers, gamers, and especially parents, and we'll continue to make adjustments as the need arises. Thank you for your patience on this, and we love your games. We love the game. You love... Oh, fucking hell. Alright, and your love for the games we rate. Okay, first off, bonus levels is completely different than loot boxes, because like with bonus levels, you're actually getting actual additional content to your game. Like, you're getting like more playtime for your game with actual new content. It could be like story DLC, or maybe like a map pack or something. It could be like that adds content. Loot boxes, however, provides a randomized system of items. That's different. That is completely different.
Here's a conspiracy theory. Given that statement, this might blow your mind, or I don't know, but here's a possibility. Is it possible with the ESRB statement there? Is it possible that big game publishers have influence over the ESRB?
Probably.
Probably not, but I don't want to sound like a conspiracy nut, but it would be out of big publishers' interest, especially EA, if big government were to start looking into this and start passing laws, because that would be a cut of revenue. Because clearly they need more revenue, because I've heard people say with microtransactions that they need it to break even, but personally I'm thinking, dude, I mean, really, do you really need to put hundreds of millions of dollars into your game, even though there have been games that have made games with less and probably made even better games with less?
Yeah, a perfect example of that is Five Nights at Freddy's. As much as I despise that game, like, that game was made with like little to nothing, and that became like millions within months.
Yeah, I'm not exactly a big fan of Five Nights at Freddy's either, but I do, and from what I've heard of the creator, he does put a lot of heart into his games. I do actually like the lore and stories created around the universe he created. It's pretty fun.
Even though it's like mostly broken and convoluted for I don't know. But anyway, that's off topic. Like, considering that indie games with much lesser budgets, they can like make millions within months, and they can break even before then.
And yeah, overall, like I said, with these big budgets, I understand with big publishers, they need to show high quality. It's AAA gaming. Like for example, Rockstar. They're called Rockstar games for a reason. They have to meet a certain standard that they have met for years. Because for me, every Rockstar game I've ever played, that logo on the box art of their games, you see that on a box, you have guaranteed quality.
For the most
Logo,
part.
that logo spells quality, and
For the most part, actually.
for the most part. I mean, I think the one exception is that one ping pong game, but I don't think it would really count much as a game. It was more of a test run of their engine, which was the same engine they would use for GTA 4. And
That was the Rage engine, I believe.
yeah, the Rage engine. And but overall, be it Max Payne, Red Dead Redemption, the GTA games, what else?
Midnight Club.
Or Midnight Club, Manhunt, but Manhunt may not be that popular example because personally, that's the one. Like, if you thought GTA was fucking bad, I mean, GTA compared to Manhunt, like,
Grand Theft
looks...
Auto is child's play in comparison to Manhunt.
Yeah, because at least GTA is more of a satire of American culture, and it's over the top.
Yeah,
Oh,
what's Grand Theft Auto 6 gonna be about?
It was very
Someone dressed
over...
up as Donald Trump or something?
It's very over the top. Well, at least except for GTA 4. GTA 4 tried to get a more serious approach, but by GTA 5 they just went back to being a bit more over the top, which is kind of weird because apparently GTA 5 was supposed to be set in the exact same universe as GTA 4 because apparently the PS2 era games are apparently set in the same universe, but once we got into HD, that's like a completely separate universe. So,
Hmm.
yeah, so it's kind of jarring. Like I can't imagine uh, it being in the same world, but I guess, but whatever. Um, but like I said, with high budgets, if you have to meet a standard, I get that. But if you're just gonna make mediocre shit, very average, very mediocre games, don't bother.
I
But
agree. Don't
but
bother.
but here's the thing. That's the same thing. But that's the same thing they big publishers say. Why put in all this extra effort? Because we all know we're gonna make money anyways. We have a name. We have a
That's
title.
that's basically
We have
what
a brand.
that's basically destiny in one sentence.
We
Like who
have
cares? We don't even try. Our name gives us more fucking money than the
we
game itself.
we have a brand. We have Battlefront, or we have Activision. Activision is another good example of a company of running franchises in the ground. Exhibit A, Tony Hawk.
Oh, that's a sad example.
Exhibit B, Guitar Hero.
That's another sad example.
Yeah. Like Tony Hawk for me was a pretty long fair. I do remember playing Tony Hawk Underground 2, or at least for me, the second Tony Hawk Underground game may as well be the actual Jackass game.
Oh yeah,
Because
I love Jackass.
for me, Tony Hawk Underground 2 felt more like a Jackass game than the actual Jackass game did.
Oh boy.
Yeah, if some of you might not remember because there was actually a Jackass game made on
I know
PS2.
about it.
Yeah,
I know about it.
and from what I've seen, it seems more like mini games.
It is.
I do remember seeing screenshots of it in a PlayStation magazine from years ago. It was an issue of 2008, and I believe there was one article talking about MGS4 before it first came out, or maybe it was a review, but I'm not entirely sure.
I saw it in a making of documentary, but that's besides the point. We're talking about budgets for games.
Yeah. And speaking of budgets, and like I said, there are games with much smaller budgets that have done better. Witcher 3 is an example of that. You want to know the budget of Witcher 3?
What?
$10 million. dollars.
Holy shit!
And and if you look at the facial animation, and then you look at fucking Mass Effect Andromeda, and it had a budget of what?
I was about to point that game out.
I'm sorry, my face is tired. Yeah, no shit.
No shit, the fucking animator wasn't even experienced.
And for some reason, a woman's face looks fucking inhuman, and then the male model looks normal. It's like, what? I don't, why?
Well,
Like,
well,
why-
the designer
why-
of that
how-
game. Well, the designer of that game is a racist, so I wouldn't be surprised.
And he does have a mug that does say white male tears.
Yep, and the writer of that game's also a person who said she was virtually raped in Grand Theft Auto Online.
Ugh.
I think I think Sam Maggs. Yes.
Ugh. Yeah, we may start going down the rabbit hole of libtards and PC elitists, or people being triggered over nonsense.
Or console fanboys. That's something I had to deal with a couple months ago.
Yeah.
That sucked. Like, when it comes to, like, games, I understand them trying to... They have to probably meet their budget and whatever. I really don't know how to describe it.
And it's because of those high budgets, it's why it leads to such layoffs. Like,
Yeah, like when it doesn't do so. Like, Capcom Vancouver is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
Dead Rising 4 didn't do too well, probably because the game sucked, and
Yeah.
Capcom Vancouver employees were laid off.
And surprisingly enough, I actually looked into that company. They were actually the same company that made the Bigs, the baseball game.
Nope.
Yeah, I'm sure not many people remember it, but I do. I do actually remember buying the Bigs 2 on 360.
Yeah, that's when there are Blue Castle games.
Yeah, and like I said, with high budgets, it might have been the reason why. It's the reason why they have trouble breaking even and why it leads to such layoffs and the loss of jobs, which is depressing. Like, no one wants to see people lose jobs. And overall, the economic status of things is still very unstable, even as of now, especially YouTube, whole adpocalypse.
Oh God.
And
like I'm not even if I ever try to monetize videos, I'd rather go to fucking Patreon than
yeah, they have very ridiculous ad standards now. The only way the rules won't be applicable to you is unless you have a very high subscriber base and YouTube can't afford to not have advertisers on your videos.
Which I obviously don't.
Yeah, if you're below 10K and your channel is threatened, you're probably fucked.
Yep. That's why I have backup files.
Yeah. It's always best to keep backups, like have a website. YMS, for example, has a website, keeps backup stuff. That's another good example.
Yeah, like we were at Gaming Pricks, we were like thinking of ideas for like website, but that never happened considering the thing just went downhill, and I announced my departure just today.
Yeah.
And it was sad. It's sad because I had hope that it would go somewhere, but it just ended up destroying friendships, and it ended up causing more damage than good.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that does it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, this was our first run on a podcast in a while. Well, maybe Trevor's first run, but my first run in a while, definitely. This will be a monthly series. Hopefully, things go well. I will be working on future videos. Be sure to check out Trevor's channel. I'll put the link in the description. And I'm Canadian, and I'll see you in the next video. See you guys.
Peace out, cucks.